Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Mutant here. Today we have a second Oracle build for you. This is the where are my notes at? Battle Mystery Oracle. This is the one that I think I actually like the most. Gets free spells that I actually kind of dig, as well as a lot of free feats, which make them particularly important. We have a condensed version of this build, which is what I'm going to do first, and then we'll stay for explanations for anyone that wants the explanations. So on that, of course, know that we are modding this game to get this Oracle build. Let's see, I think I can go straight to continue. The dog outside agrees, apparently. So it's what we have here. So we have an asymmetric build. Oh, this will be the next one that I work on. Don't look at her. This is the Battle Mistress. So this is an Oracle proper. The Oracle, again, specifically has Clouded Vision as its curse and Battle Mystery as its mystery. There's a reason for that. We'll explain that as we go. But let's actually get into the actual builds. Know at level 1, the following stats are going to be what you have. You have a Strength of 19, Dex of 12, Con of 12, Intelligence 12, Wisdom is 7, Charisma is 18. That's your casting stat. This is, again, so we can maximize strength. All 5 points are going into strength at levels 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. So you'll finish with a strength of 24 on modded, of course. And then, of course, you need to be lawful good for this particular character, so your deity choice does matter. We're specifically an asymmetric, specifically the Angelkin asymmetric. That's the one that gets a strength and strength and charisma bonus, as well as lesser restoration for free once a day. Little bonuses to low religion, something that we have, as well as use magic device, something else we also have. So again, something of value for you there. Know that at level 1, because we're only getting 1 feat, we actually went and stole some feats, and here's how we did it. So because we went for the battle mystery, we actually have a revelation that we pick at level 1 called Skill at Arms. This literally allows us to get martial weapon proficiency for free and heavy armor proficiency for free, something that oracles don't have. They normally have light and medium armor proficiency, as well as shields, not counting tower shields. And they also have simple weapon proficiency, which is kind of some shit. So, martial weapon proficiency at level 1 for free, yes please. We decided that longsword would be our thing, and that the reason for that is also for flavor, but because our deity specifically was Iamade, and Iamade being our deity was a longsword specialist, so it made sense that we stayed a longsword specialist like them. That's all the stuff that you're seeing here and here that came from that revelation. Notice for the 1 feat that we get for being an asymmetric at level 1, we get spell vulnerability. Again, went for flavor, so we went necromancy. Iamade seems to be a deity that's all about loving and hippie hugging and all that weird shit, so necromancy being a penalty made sense, as well as unholy damage. And you are an asymmetric, let's just fucking say it. Doing that allows us to get 2 feats for the price of 1 bad feat, so we took Power Attack and Steadfast Personality. This will be a staple with my Oracle builds, just so we're clear on this. For the strength-based ones, Power Attack is something you definitely want, and Steadfast Personality is something that takes your Charisma modifier, which is awesome, and your Wisdom modifier, which is shit, combines them for certain saving throws, which is, again, a benefit. Might as well grab that early level. So that's why those 2 are always there. If I was a human, I would have a 3rd feat, because again, I still would have taken Spell Vulnerability, and I would have picked something else for level 1, but obviously we didn't go that route. So that's level 1, with the exception of one other thing to talk about. So that other thing we need to talk about is your traits. The traits that we picked. I mean, Iamade, well, 2 things to talk about. One, we went with Cure Spells, and then the other is Iamade being our deity. We specifically picked 3 traits instead of 2. To do that, you take a drawback of some kind. In this case, we went with the emotion drawback, envy. Again, that's a staple. We have for that drawback, all you have to do is have lots and lots of money, and you don't have to worry about this being a problem. Because of that, though, that gives us 3 traits to play with. So we went with equipment trait, family heirloom, and of course the longsword. That gives us a cold iron longsword +1 at level 1. But there's so much more than that. It gives you a +1 to your swing extra with any longsword, much like weapon focused longsword, which is something we're going to get before too long. Again, this is really, really important for you to be able to hit your targets, especially on the harder difficulties, which this character is more than capable of doing. So that's one of their traits. Campaign trait after that was Sword Sign. Another bonus to your swing with a longsword, as well as an Eldori dueling sword, which you cannot use, so why bother? But the point is, you could have done so. This gives us, again, another stacking +1 bonus to our swing with our longswords, which is really, really nice. From there, the last one we took was Faith Trait, and we did Planar Savant. That one allows us to take our Charisma modifier again, which is one of our best stats, and use it for any of the knowledges. We have to pick which one. So it's either Knowledge Arcana or Knowledge World. So we went with Knowledge Arcana because I figured, well, what the fuck, you're a magical caster type. It makes sense that you kind of know about magic, so that's the way we went. Notice we get free spells as we level up. I'm not going to talk about them yet. I'll talk about it after we blow through this build because, again, some people are in a hurry. So let's actually talk about that. So at level 2, or I should point out also for other stuff that you're going to get at level 1, you have 2 spells for level 1 that you're going to pick. I suggest you grab Divine Favor and Shield of Faith, and again, you will like them moving on. Level 2, you don't get anything except for this free spell and more HP. But again, nothing really to write home about. Level 3, we're going to grab a Revelation. You'll see that we're got one here as well as a feat up here. Notice Dazzling Display. This is going to be a Cornigan Smash build, Shatter Defenses, but one that we used our Intimidation, our Charisma, and our Persuasion checks to scare the shit out of bad guys that we smack with our sword. As such, that makes them flat-footed if they're shaken, thanks to Shatter Defenses, which is coming down the pipe. Extremely viable. Done it on a million builds. You'll do it too. You'll enjoy it. Having said that, Dazzling Display requires you have weapon focus, but Brother Mutant, we don't have weapon focus. We have Skill at Arms, way the hell over here. That didn't give us weapon focus. Yeah, but our Revelation Weapon Mastery does, and it gives us so much more. Look at what it gives you. You start off with weapon focus. Then you get at level 8, improved critical in that weapon. Again, longsword for us. Then at level 12, we get greater weapon focus. Another bonus to your fucking swing. So you can see we're swinging like a goddamn champ by the end of this build, which is part of the point of the strongest there is build. So, solid upgrade here. Make sure to grab this one first, then this feat, because Dazzling Display will not be available to you until you get Weapon Focus. But again, picking up this Revelation, the Weapon Mastery Revelation, and again, it will make you pick the weapons. So make sure to pick Longsword, and you'll be happy. Moving on, at level 3, you're also going to get for free spells. You're going to get one more spell for free, and that's Obscuring Mist. And I figured, you know, you're already at a penalty with the Clouded Vision to seeing targets, range, concealment, all that annoying shit. Why not fuck them over too? Now, the downside of these spells that you're going to see here is going to be that you can only cast them so far away. Your vision is impaired because of Clouded Vision as your curse. Okay, so that's literally just going to bork you like crazy. At first, it starts off with 20 feet, and that's as far as you can cast shit. Then it eventually opens up to 30, and it doesn't get any better from there. Having said that, there's AoE spells, again, Obscuring Mist being an example of one, where you can cast it at a maximum range of 30 feet. Half of that will be in the circle, half of it will be out of the circle. That still works. It's not that the spell just stops working beyond 30 feet. It's just your clicking point, the point where you can click, whether it's a target or the dirt. That's as far as you can click your spells. Okay, just be real clear on this, which means you're a close combatant, which again is fine. You are going to be a battle master. That's the whole fucking point. Moving on, so at level 3, again, we say Obscuring Mist. Level 4, you do get a free spell. Besides this, you get your level 2 spells unlock, and as such, you're going to grab Oracle's Burden. This is a spell that's unique to the Oracle, and it literally is one that's going to take this penalty that you have, not the bonuses that you're going to get, like your Blind Sense and your Blind Sight shit. It doesn't give them any of that. It gives them all the penalty, none of the plus. So that's an amazing spell. Make sure to grab Oracle's Burden. Level 5, you're going to grab, and of course, you get your Protection from Arrows for free at level 4, by the way. Level 5, we're going to get Shield Focus. There's nothing that we wanted technically at this level. I mean, they could just as easily swapped around, say, additional traits, or grab my Self-Intimidating Prowess. There's a variety of things that you could have moved around in this build. But this one was nice because, again, you can use a shield as an Oracle. Now, you may say, well, can you cast spells while using that shield? Well, you can cast your buff spells, so you don't have to put the shield away to cast your buff spell before you go into combat. You just don't get to use your shield and cast spells in combat. It's going to be like a problem, I believe, for you. But having said that, we're about to make that problem inconsequential before too long. This is just a nice bonus to your armor class. Again, it just adds to your shield armor, which is a really nice free thing to have as long as you are using a shield, which of course you can do. Notice, of course, now we have that better range to our spells, 30 feet maximum at this point. And again, not amazing, but still better than nothing. Level 5, you're also going to get for free spells. You're going to take Bless for level 1, and level 2, you're going to get Bone Shaker. Okay, and again, Bone Shaker normally has medium range. You don't have medium range. You have close range. 30 feet is about as close as it gets. So you're kind of borking yourself here. But again, I still appreciate a spell that's auto hit. Moving on, at level 6, we're going to grab Deadly Juggernaut as your spell. It's a level 3 spell. It's the first one you're going to grab, and of course, Magical Investment will be waiting there for you. Of course, I should have pointed out that all your cure spells are going to be here level 1 through 8. Level 9, there is no cure spell, so that's not going to be a thing. So that's what's going to happen at level 6. Level 7, we're going to grab, for our revelation, we're going to grab Surprising Charge. This is the ability for you to literally pounce on the target as a swift action. It's really useful. You can do it multiple times in a day by the end of the build. Really, really helpful. Allows you to just a power sprint your happy ass across the room and just pop someone in the face as a swift action. That's a really, really nice ability, because then you're over there and now you can do other shit like wail on the motherfucker. You'll appreciate that. Level 7, you're also going to grab for a feat, Cornigan Smash. This is as soon as you can take this, because your Persuasion needed to be to 6 before you can pick it. So obviously you've been investing in Persuasion. We'll talk about skills at the very end. Level 7, you're also going to get for free spells at level 7, or your spell picks, I should say. Level 1, you're going to pick up Bane. That's a nice penalty to the bad guy, centered on you. Burst of Radiance. This one is a problem simply because of the range, and again, it's not teammate friendly. That includes you, so be careful with this shit. But at this point, you actually do have a range of 30 feet, so long as the spell's not has a massive AoE, you will be fine. But again, be careful with that shit. So again, Burst of Radiance is a solid spell. Then, of course, we're also going to pick up Channel Vigor. That's a level 3 spell. Now, Channel Vigor allows you to do a variety of things, but the biggie for me is always casting Haste on yourself as a single target haste spell. It's extremely valuable, extremely valuable for an attacker. Level 8 now, we're moving up to grabbing a level 4 spell, and besides getting, of course, Wall of Fire for free, a very nice spell. Again, watch the range on that shit. You're going to grab Aura of Doom. The reason you're grabbing this one is because it allows you to click it on yourself for like 10 minutes per caster level, long-lasting spell, and you're intimidating, or scaring, I should say, everybody in a fucking circle around you that's a bad guy. They always will make a check to see if they're intimidated, or shaken, I should say. Keep saying intimidated. Shaken. And as a result of that, if they are shaken, remember, Cornigan Smash isn't even really necessary at that point, but Shattered Defenses will capitalize on that. Another raid for you to set up that shaken condition. You don't even have to hit the motherfucker. They might be scared before you even get to him, which of course is of value. You can see the appeal here. Level 9, you're going to grab yourself for a feat, Shattered Defenses, an obvious choice. And then for free spells, you're going to pick up Delay Poison, you're going to pick up Prayer, and you're going to pick up Divine Power. Again, Delay Poison, I love my immunity to things, making myself or my teammates immune for many hours at a time to something like Poison Effect is extremely valuable. Prayer, a nice buff / debuff all at the same time. And of course, Divine Power, an amazing spell that's a lot like Deadly Juggernaut, but just more so. And again, you'll appreciate that for your strongest there is build. Level 10, you're finally picking up a level 5 spell called Flame Strike. I figured, why not? Get yourself some nice AoE damage. It has a decent sized circle, not so bad that you can't fit it within that 30-foot range without hurting yourself. And a solid striking ability. It does 2 different types of damage, no less. Half of it's fire, half of it, I want to say, is divine or holy damage. So again, if there's someone's immune to fire damage, you still have a way to hurt the motherfucker. So something you'll appreciate. So that's at level 10. Moving on to level 11, we're going to have as our revelation, we're going to pick up something called War Sight. War Sight allows you to literally roll your initiative multiple times in a round. Starts off where you get it twice, and then by the end of the build, by level 11, it says, you get to roll it 3 separate times. You will see it in the combat log if you have that checked, which it normally is on my build, so I'm assuming it's automatically checked for everybody. But it's a really nice way for you to see that it's working. And it will tell you that you rolled this, you rolled that, you kept the best of the 2. You rolled this, you rolled that, you kept the best of the 2. You rolled this, you rolled that, you kept the best of the 2. So again, really, really nice bonus right here. Notice that you always get to act in the surprise round too. This is something that's unique with this ability. This allows you to, even if you were surprised, to still act. Yes, you will act last. And then when the full official round 1 starts, wherever you roll for your initiative, that's where you will fit again. So sometimes you will fight back to back, where it looks like you get 2 turns. One was because of the surprise round, the other was because your initiative was so high that you're acting first in combat round 1. So there's nothing wrong there. You haven't done anything as a mistake. The game's not glitched. This is exactly what it's supposed to do. It's extremely useful for you to, at least on surprise rounds, to get an attack off, a buff, anything, to literally start off the fight. Because again, when you get surprised, you can see how annoying that would be. So that's a really nice one for you to pick up at level 11. Notice over here we also have additional traits. Now on those additional traits, we went with Hedonistic as our penalty. The other traits that you wanted to grab, let's actually show them to you over here in our abilities. After Hedonistic, another one that requires money. This physique drawback right here. We took 3 traits. We get Dangerously Curious from the magic trait. This allows us to get a green check mark next to our used magic device, as well as a bonus to our used magic device. We took a race trait of World Traveler Human. This allows us to pick one of the 3 skills and get a bonus to it. We took Perception, so we got it as a class skill. You didn't have it as a class skill up until this point, so a nice green check mark there. That's a big +4 to your Perception now. 3 from the green check mark, and 1 more for the trait bonus. Then, of course, the last one we picked was social trait because of Hunter's Blood. Hunter's Blood allows us to pick, again, one of 3 things. We decided to go with Persuasion. Again, we had Persuasion as a class skill. That's fine, but I do appreciate the +1 to my Persuasion checks. That's part of our build with the Intimidation check there. And we get a bonus to fighting undead, a bonus to our attack, to our damage, and our armor class against undead. A real nice upgrade. I thought that was an important thing for you to have. At level 11, for free spells, or spell picks, I should say, you picked up for level 2, Consecrate. That protects you from undead, sort of. We have Communal Resist Energy at level 3, and you may say, why pick up that one? Don't you always swear by Resist Energy? Well, I ran out of stuff that I wanted to pick. At level 2, I wanted that Consecrate. I figured, fuck it, we're building towards a fighting the undead kind of build here. And that Communal Resist Energy at level 3, well, it may not last long. Didn't have a lot in level 3 that I really gave a shit about anyway, and it's a nice way to buff you and or your teammates. So again, something that is appealing. From there, level 4 spell, you're going to pick up Freedom of Movement. This is a way to make you immune to things like paralysis, for example. Also, we're going to pick up a level 5 spell. This is the only time we're actually picking up 4 spells at once. And it is Cleanse. And this is a way for you to heal yourself in combat, or outside of combat for that matter, and remove a lot of the debuffs like blinded effects or death effects or shit that basically penalize you in some way. Cleanse will actually take those away from you, which is really, really nice. Level 12, we're picking up for free spells, a level 6 spell called Eagle Soul. This is a nice sacred bonus to your strength and some other fiddly bits besides. You need to be good to cast this spell, so we're lawful good. We've met the criteria. Of course, don't forget you're getting Righteous Might way back here at level 10. Decent spell, and of course Mass Bull Strength, which is a piss spell. By now, you and your team has belts of strength +4 or higher, certainly. There may be 1 or 2 people that could benefit from this, so don't throw it away, but at the very least, it's a free spell. Level 13, we're picking up Unhindering Shield. Now, this is the reason we needed shield focus way the fuck back here. So this one literally is going to give you the ability to use a buckler, only a buckler, while using anything else two-handed. A longsword, by the way, can be used two-handed. You get more damage because you're choking up on it. So I figured, fuck it, Unhindering Shield, solid upgrade. Still get to have a shield. It's not an amazing shield, but again, with shield focus, that's another +1 as a result of that. And again, I appreciate this, and it doesn't impede our casting stat and all that other fun stuff as well. So again, pretty nice bonus for you. For spells at level 13, you're going to pick up Death Ward, Spell Resistance, and I'm going with Cold Ice Strike to give you some kind of elemental damage type. It's a swift action spell, one of the few that you have that is swift action, so it's very nice in that regard. Spell Resistance, obviously it's going to be based on your caster level, which we're going to max that out at 20 by the end of it, so it's going to be a solid Spell Resistance. I want to say 12 plus 20, so 32. And Death Ward is an amazing spell if you don't know already. That makes you immune to things like Energy Drain and Innervation spells and a lot of other bonuses as well. So a solid spell. Then from there, at level 14, we're going to get for our level 7 spell, Bestow Grace of the Champion. This is the one that requires you to be lawful good to be able to use it on yourself. You can cast it on anybody, but only if they're lawful good will it benefit them. This is the spell that gives you your charisma modifier, whatever the fuck it is, and adds it to all 3 of your saving throws, much like a paladin's. It's a very nice upgrade for someone that's a charisma-based caster. Hence the reason we went lawful good. Level 15, you're going to pick up a Revelation, picking Combat Healer. This allows you to use your healing spells as if they were quickened. It requires you to burn up 2 spell slots at the same time to do that, but sometimes you just got to heal yourself. What can I say? And it still gives you the chance to do something. You can use this multiple times a day. It's not amazing, but again, in a pinch, it really lends a helping hand. Notice we have for level 15 Furious Focus as our feat. This is the one that allows us to take our power attack penalty and make it go away. Only for the first attack. But remember that pounce ability we had not too long ago? That is your first attack. And literally having that thing take away that -1, 2, -4, I think at the worst case scenario for us, that's a pretty bad fuck you to your swing. I'll happily take that away. And why? Because if we connect with it, remember, Cornigan Smash is going to kick off assuming you have power attack on, which is of course the reason for Furious Focus. Then certainly Cornigan Smash will try to activate and will try to intimidate them. Will we be successful? They might be immune to shaken. They might be immune to intimidation. They just may have a will like no one's fucking business. Point is, if it does work, we have scared them, and as a result, it allows us to really hammer home the next follow-up attacks, because now they're intimidated by us, which means they're shaken, which means Shattered Defenses kicks in, and now they're basically flat-footed for our follow-up attacks. Really, really nice upgrade here. Level 15 spells that you're going to grab are Bone Shatter, the big brother version of Bone Shaker. Again, range is medium. You do not have medium range. You have close range because of your clouded vision. Know that. Notice we're going to pick one of two spells. Your choice on this one. I picked Chains of Light on this build, but I could easily see me picking Heal. It's your last spell for this level of spells, so pick whichever makes the most sense to you. If you want to heal the team or yourself for lots and lots of health, Heal is the way to go here. I do like Chains of Light. Chains of Light is an amazing spell because there is no spell resistance associated with it. It is literally your god sending out a godly ray of chains just circling the bad guy and saying fuck them. They may make a saving throw, but that's on them. Other than that, no spell resistance. You got no spells like that. From there, the other spell you're going to pick up at this level 15 is also Greater Restoration. Now, you may say, why not grab Restoration for Lesser Restoration? Well, first, let me remind you, you are a specific type of Asymmeter, and as a result, you got Lesser Restoration. Yes, it's only once a day, but once per rest, you're allowed to cast Lesser Restoration. So you didn't need Lesser Restoration. Greater Restoration is definitely the better of the three, and I just didn't want Restoration. I would get it in potion form or scroll form or wand form and call it good at that point. But Greater Restoration is a solid screw you for the bad guys, because anytime they try to penalize you and your team, Greater Restoration can make those penalties go away in most cases. Solid spell. Level 16 now we're picking up for our level 8 spell, Frightful Aspect. This is the big daddy version of this one way back here, Legendary Proportions. It's basically the same spell. It's just it adds a frightening component to it, where basically bad guys that attack you are scared of you. Again, setting up Shattered Defenses. We have multiple ways of setting that up in this build. It also is a different DR10. I want to say it's magic or evil, something like that. So DR10 / whatever. It's not adamantine. Point is that would stack with this level of protection. It's not that amazing. It's the same general stats, same strength, same con, and all that jazz. Same natural armor bonus, I believe, as well. So this is not as good as the one we just told you to pick up, the Frightful Aspect. But it's a different spell level. This is a level 7 spell. Frightful Aspect is a level 8 spell. So again, multiple ways to make yourself big and strong is my point here. Solid spell. You will enjoy it. Level 7, and also, by the way, this one requires a dinosaur bone, so it has a spell component, whereas Frightful Aspect does not. Just as a side note there. Also, don't forget you're getting this spell for free. Storm Bolts, amazing spell. AoE, electric damage. Again, I want to say this one is teammate friendly, so you don't have to worry about this one quite so much. Yes, it's enemy creature specifically, so this one should be fine, even with your impaired casting range. So don't worry about that. Level 17, we're picking up Intimidating Prowess. Again, that could have been shuffled around with, you say, your shield focus, your additional traits, or your unhindered shield as needed. But this is a nice way to use your strength modifier now, along with your charisma modifier, to your persuasion check when you're trying to intimidate people with your corner against smash. Really hammers home, part of the pun, the frightening aspect of corner against smash. Level 17, we're also picking up for free spells. Only 2 spells this time. This particular form makes you immune to a variety of things for you and your team, as well as regeneration. And of course, you can end it early to heal yourself. Also, you're going to get Greater Angelic Aspect, and you have to get Greater Angelic Aspect. You'll see why here at the next level, but it is a must in my opinion. Level 18, you're going to pick up for your level 9 spell, a spell called Scourge of the Horseman. And this one literally does AoE damage of acid damage, a very large amount of acid damage. The downside is the range is normally long. You don't have long range, and because it's such a huge area of effect, you could hurt yourself with it. As a matter of fact, you will hurt yourself with this spell. You can't cast it far enough away from you to not be in the range of the effect, and that's acid damage. Well, guess what? That spell I just mentioned you had to have, Greater Angelic Aspect, cast it on yourself. You're immune to acid and cold for many minutes with that spell on. Well, now you have that Scourge of the Horseman, who does a shit ton of acid damage. You're immune to it. It's not teammate friendly, be careful, but a solid spell besides that. Level 19, we're going to last revelation, and we're going to grab ourselves the Iron Skin. This is basically the equivalent of Stone Skin, a spell we don't have, but we can cast this a couple times a day. Nothing particularly special about it, but it really is just like Stone Skin spell, but we use our Oracle level, and it's a spell-like ability. We'll get DR10 / Adamantine. And again, you may say, well, didn't we have that for free here? Sure, but you had to cast it on you. It doesn't last as long, and we probably want to cast Frightful Aspect at that point. And that one has DR10 / something that's not adamantine. Again, layers of protection is important for this build. From there, free spells, feat you're going to get here is one called Hurtful. This is a new one. Notice the color scheme. This one here is a new one that allows you to really, if you have scared somebody, you get to do a swift action attack on the son of a bitch, which is a really nice way of just saying fuck that guy. And it could be of value, and I appreciate that. So I thought this could be useful. This might be less important since we have all those pounce abilities and shit. That's on you. But I do like the idea of us getting a free attack off, which is really, really nice. And again, if they are intimidated, which is part of the whole point, then we get Shattered Defenses automatically kick in. So this swift action, this free swift action that we get, is going to be hitting a target as if they were flat-footed, which is really, really nice. Free spells that you're going to take at this level is the 2 spells. Level 8 and level 9, you're going to get Summon Elder Elemental, our first and only summon spell. Explain that here in a minute. An Implosion for level 9, a solid single target spell. Yeah, the range kind of sucks now, but I think the range on that one wasn't that much better. Anyway, the Summon Elder Elemental, on the other hand, you may wonder, why do we need a summon spell, especially at such a late level? Well, I decided that sometimes it's nice to have some big-ass monster on your side blocking the doorway when you get jumped by 2 groups of guys, one coming from the left, one coming from the right. You can put that big Elder Elemental in the doorway, excuse me, and let that Elder Elemental tank for you, so to speak, while you and your team wails on the guys from the right, and then you take your time to saunter over there and kill the guys on the left. It's kind of the fucking point. And they are immune to a variety of things, and they bring some like different types of elemental attacks to the table as far as the fire elemental is concerned. So a solid attacker. Level 20, here, last level. We're going to grab ourselves this for free, Final Revelation. Notice this one here. We get the Pounce ability and Die Hard Feet for free. We get to ignore damage reduction on any critical hit, and while our critical hits aren't amazing, we do crit thanks to our longsword critting on 19 and 20, and of course our improved critical that we got for free. We crit on the 17, 18, 19, 20, which is the second best crit range in the game. So we have 20% chance on any swing to crit on somebody. So having that ignore damage reduction is a really nice fuck you to the bad guys. You gain a +4 insight bonus to armor class for purposes of confirming critical hits against you. Now, we have spells that make us immune to critical hits. That doesn't mean that the spell has been cast. So this is a nice way to make sure that you don't get crit as often as well. So again, you can see the appeal here. Of course, we are wearing armor and probably using a buckler minimum anyway. So you're going to have good defenses. You're not likely to be critted, but again, I will appreciate more. More is always better. From there, for level 20, you're only going to get 1 free spell. That free spell, I'm going to take a level 9 spell called Energy Drain. Again, range is not that great anyway, but it's a raise spell. We're pretty good at hitting targets at this point, and I say a nice 2d4 negative levels that can stack on a target is a good way to soften somebody up. That's basically the build. Real quick to show you your abilities, your skills. We invested 7 ranks in athletics. Knowledge Arcana, we invested 11 ranks in it, 13 in Lore Religion, and that's because it's keying off of Wisdom, which is kind of shit. So you can see the Lore Religion is still behind Knowledge Arcana. Knowledge Arcana is kicking off this beautiful +10 here for Charisma because of our Planar Savant ability. But Lore Religion is really kind of screwed right now. At least we get a bonus thanks to being an Angel King. From there, other stuff, of course, Perception all the way to 20. And again, we unlocked its ability, hence that World Traveler there. So that class skill +3 and that trait +1 kicked in. And then we wanted, of course, Persuasion to be high. It's not crazy high. It's only 14 points, but you can see we're doing really well. And remember, for Intimidation checks, we get to add our 13 plus over there for Strength on top of that, or more if we're even stronger, which we have spells that will do that. So again, we have a lot of ways to make that Persuasion check really, really high for when we try to intimidate a motherfucker. Use Magic Device, 5 ranks. All we needed. With the Charisma that we have and the class skill, we got a racial bonus besides and a nice little trait bonus as well. We're above 20. 21 is really, really nice. For those of you that don't know, when you do a Use Magic Device check, that's for when you try and cast with like a wand or a scroll, a spell that's not part of your spell list, or not even that, a spell that you could have cast. Remember, I could have picked Inflict Spell Wounds, Inflict Spells to damage targets. I chose not to, but I can use those scrolls and those wands for free. I don't need a Use Magic Device check because they could have been part of my spell list. Use Magic Device, on the other hand, for like wizard spells, for example, stuff that's, or even druid spells for that matter, stuff that we would normally never have access to. That's when Use Magic Device gets kicked in this game. And the way that works is you roll a 1d20 plus the level of the spell, 1d20 plus your Use Magic Device to see if you can overcome the level of the spell. So let's say it's a level 1 spell, so that's a 1 plus 20. So you needed a 21 minimum. Well, you see we have a 21 already right now, so we're covering level 1 spells, boom. The reason I shoot for plus 20 minimum is that way I'm ignoring the 20, which means all I need to do is roll on the 1d20. I need to roll the level of the spell to pass it. So if I need a level 1 spell, I need to roll a 1. If I need to roll use a scroll that's a level 9 spell from a wizard, for example, I need to roll a 9 or better. That's a better than a 50% chance from a 20 die-sided roll. Because again, you need a 9, 10, or all the way up to 20 works. And in this case, we're even better than that. We're at 21. So we're slightly better than what I normally shoot for. So I'm real happy with that as a solid build. Now, that was quick. Probably not that quick, but that is your build. Just as a reminder, you're going to get a variety of gear. I'm not going to tell you in this part of the video what to grab. I'll tell you if you stay. But know that you want a longsword for the longest time. You get a cold iron longsword +1. Again, a solid swing with that little bastard because of all the bonuses that you have. You get your family heirloom bonus. You got your sword scion bonus. You got your weapon focus. You got your greater weapon focus eventually. And you get the magic weapon besides, and your strength. And a variety of other spells that can buff you. And you have a solid base attack bonus of 15 by the end of the build. You were swinging like a goddamn champ. You're not as good as a fighter in a lot of things, but spiders don't have the spells that you have access to. So again, you're going to hit your mark. I'm not worried about that. When you finally get the unhindering shield, I would finally bring in your shield, your buckler, so that you literally have some extra armor as a result of that. Until that time, I would stay away from it unless you really feel you need the extra armor. You have spells that can protect you, so I really don't think it's necessary until that time. But I would always have like a good longsword and then a shield, a buckler, or any shield for that matter, and then just a good longsword by itself, so you can choke up on it and get that extra damage. Remember, your damage is going to key off of whether it's one-handed or two-handed attack. Right now, I'm getting it as if it is a two-handed attack, even though it doesn't look like it. The bonuses that you're seeing here are definitely coming from extra strength and extra power attack. How do you know? -4 for power attack is a +8 to your damage, normally. But if you're two-handing it, it goes from +8 to +12. You get 50% stronger. Same with your strength modifier, 50% of this 13 rounded down. So instead of 13 extra damage, I'm getting 6 more, so I get 19 extra damage. So 19 and, what did I just say, 12? That's 31 damage. So why is it 35? Because the weapon in question here is a +5 weapon. And that's why you're getting the 36 damage here. That's a really, really nice amount of damage for someone that's really not trying all that hard. And again, by not trying hard, I mean casting your spells, buffing your damage that way, buffing your strength, just get it higher, more. This guy or gal, whatever, will hit like a burnt fucking shithouse. You guys will love it. Now, that's the short version, as short as I can make it for you guys. For those of you that wanted just that, please move along. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, blah, blah, blah. For anyone that wants to learn why we did the spells the way we did it, the feats the way we did it, more on the build as far as what I would wear, what kind of gear I would use, stick around because I'm going to tell you about that in 3, 2. All right, you guys still here? Okay, all those other losers that quit and left us, they just wanted to steal my build. We all know it. Screw those guys. They don't know the tricks that I'm about to show you because you're my special favorite ones. My mom told me that all the time, and you better believe that mom would never lie. So what do we mean by extra stuff? Well, let's talk about gear. Okay, so first off, you're never going to wear this dumbass wizard hat. And let's just fucking say it. It's hideous as hell. You're probably going to put on something cool. So you're probably going to grab yourself something like Metal Reborn. This nice protection. DR5 bludgeoning attacks go through it, of course. But slashing and piercing, those are solid ways to suck up some extra damage. Notice it's a bonus to Wisdom and Charisma, a +6. Those are 2 stats we actually care about. Wisdom for saving throws, Charisma for saving throws. Also Charisma for spell casting. It's not a +8. Let's just fucking say it's not as good as the hat. But the hat looks stupid. And I do appreciate the extra protection and the fact that the protection is always there, unless, of course, it's bludgeoning weapons. That's a nice stackable protection for you. It makes you really, really tough. If that's not your thing, you will eventually, spoiler alert, get a crown in the game. And the crown is pretty fucking tits because it's a +6 to everything as far as mental stats. So intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and a bonus to your resistance to your saving throws against compulsion effects. Not amazing because you're probably going to have resistance bonuses from the next piece of gear that you grab. But the point's still the same. You will appreciate the +6 to 3 separate stats. And it does look fucking cool, especially with the Asimir glowing eyes trippiness. Another alternative would be the Mystic Archaeologist helmet. You grab that just because you look like a fucking knight, which is pretty damn badass. It's a +6 to charisma only, but it gives you a bonus to use magic advice and knowledge world skill checks, something you didn't actually care about. But if you invested in that instead of knowledge arcana, hey man, that could have been cool. And it does look pretty fucking badass. I'm just going to go with the crown and call it good for now. From there, cloak. A variety of cloaks. The ones I suggest, the ones that make you immune to things. Cloak of the Chosen, for example. Nice will save bonus. ability to cast prayer at will, which means we could take that off of our spell list if that was something that mattered to you. If there's another spell that you would rather have instead of prayer, the fact that you have it at will is a nice upgrade. I don't think that's my thing. The stuff that I like Noxious Veil, nice acid resistance. Remember, I have that spell that did acid damage. If I forget to cast that acid immunity spell, the greater angelic aspect on myself, this will protect me at least partially from my own stupidity. Having said that, you also get Acid Fog twice a day as a 11th level wizard. Again, something else you didn't have. You could stand in that fog and fuck them over. Remember, you have vision impairment. Why not make them impaired? Hence the obscuring mist spells. Really screw those guys over. So Noxious Veil is a solid choice in my opinion. Ravenous Shadow, just a solid bonus. Immunity to poison. Again, I don't need to lay poison at that point if that's the thing. Notice we can get Shaman's Cloak, another massive bonus to your saving throws, and the ability to turn into an Earth Elemental once a day. That's pretty solid. We have, and those guys are fucking strong, by the way. Let's actually just equip that one. We have a Strigoi Embrace. If you really needed that charisma to be +8, and you found a different hat to wear instead of the one that gives you a +6 charisma, because obviously at this point it's wasteful, then you definitely want the one that's the Strigoi Embrace, the +8 charisma. That's the other one that gives you +8. A really nice way to get your charisma high. And I like this one because you can cast Energy Drain, a spell that we already have, but you can get it early and cast it once a day. And it's a 13th level wizard. That means shit. That has nothing to do with the spell other than the duration, and it's going to last for hours. Who gives a fuck? They're going to die soon, is the point. This is a nice free spell once a day. You will appreciate that one. Thaumaturgus Cloak, another charisma, lane bonus. Another one here that's a nice bonus to armor, but again, you'll get boots that are better. But again, bonus to saving throw against poison, sleep, and paralysis. Early levels, I could see this being useful, but chances are this doesn't show up early. So again, I'm going to stick with Shaman's Cloak. Ring of Circumstance. You definitely want this one. This is the one that allows you to activate on 4 things. I activated on Strength, I activated on Charisma, the 2 stats that I give a shit about. I activated on Armor, and then your 4th one can be whatever the fuck you want. In this particular instance, I activated on Dexterity because I figured why not? Better Dexterity, better Armor, better Reflexes. It's all a win-win. And we do have some Ray spells in our build, so fuck it. I figured why not? From there, for the other ring choice, depending on your belt, let's actually skip over to the belt and armor. Notice that we have the Battlemaster's Plate and the Belt of Physical Perfection +8. Again, solid choices. I like the fact that you get the max dexterity of 3 because it's mithril armor. I love the fact we get greater heroism once per day as 11th level wizard. This is a spell we don't have access to. It's a nice +40 to your swing and a bunch of other fiddly bits besides. This is a really nice fuck you to a bad guy for buffing you up before combat. 11-minute buff. Hell yes, I'll take that shit. You'll walk through most dungeons in 11 minutes. That's a solid spell. But once a day, kind of shit. We have gloves that are going to be better than that, as I'll show you here in a minute. But, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't show you the Onslaught armor, which is... where you get the bastard? Right here. This one is also a mithril armor, +5 mithril armor, no less, and gives you +8 to strength, which means we don't need a belt that gives us 8 to strength anymore. Well, what would we want? Well, how about we get something that gives us Dex and Con +8? There is a belt that does that. It is the Devil's Sash. It makes us immune to poison as well, okay? And again, you see our strength did not go down, and our Dex and Con stayed the same. Well, that's kind of wasteful, and we don't really need the immunity to poison. This could go on something else. How about we give ourselves the Conqueror Worm? +8 to Con only. Our Dexterity got hammered. Notice that +3, though. With the armor, max Dexterity +3. We're getting all that Dexterity for armor anyway. Everything else is kind of wasteful. Not that it's bad. You get it for your attack bonuses for like your ranged spells, like our energy drain spell we just talked about a moment ago. So again, still you want this higher, but if you don't have it higher, you're not really that penalized. And this is a nice once a day spell turning into a Black Dragon level 3. That's a huge strength bonus right there. I think it's like a +10 to your strength. And we have spells that can capitalize on that, make it even better, probably bring us all the way up to probably about +50. Or sorry, +50, a 50, where it's a +20 over here. That's a solid attacking son of a bitch at that point. So I'm going to go with Conqueror Worm. Having said that, our dexterity's down. Well, here's a ring that can get it back up. Dragonfly ring, +8 to dexterity. And you can cast that cleanse spell, the one that you already had, 3 times a day on yourself. So I don't have to use my cleanse spells to do it. I can save those spell slots. Remember, you are a spontaneous caster, so why waste them? So I'll use it from the ring first, and then I'll use my own. As far as bracers are concerned, there's no really good bracers for you. I would probably go with just the Forest Knights bracers. This is something that gets forged for you. And we're back. We crashed them in here, the fellas. We're having a lot of this lately. I'm not sure what's causing this shit. It was really annoying to even shut off my recording. So it saved the recording. At least it said it did. So going back in. Just give me a minute, guys. We'll get you right back where we were at. Hopefully. Don't you lock up on me. Don't you do it. I know you want to work. There we go. Good girl. Alright. Back into it. And continue. Okay. Not sure why this crashing is going on. It really kind of scared me here. I'm afraid that I'm actually messing up my system. I know it's not overheating. I monitor that these days. So, where were we? Yeah, we're talking about stuff. So let's give us our crown back, shaman's cloak, ring, dragonfly, onslaught armor. And I wanted to give myself the worm belt. Where'd you go? Right there. Okay. Bracers, the Forest Knight's bracers we were talking about, I believe. The fact that we don't get confused or frightened. Now Hideous Laughter kicks in. It's a spell effect. You are screwed over by it. Don't kid yourself. But at the very least, you're not panicked and running away or attacking your team, which would be devastating for someone that hits as hard as you do. So it is useful. It just takes you out of the fight for a little bit of time. And again, the Hideous Laughter can be overcome as well. So that's not bad. Notice for your gloves, as an honorable mention for gloves, you notice I have two here. I have the lightest touch. This is a +6 to your dexterity. Will not stack with the ring, so there's no point mentioning that. But +3 resistance to reflex saving throws, body blah blah, reduce person at will, and again, turning yourself into a teeny tiny person will actually give you a penalty to strength, bonus to dex, and all kinds of other bonuses besides. That's worth doing. I wouldn't. I do like, however, the Royal Gloves of Valor. This is not one I'm suggesting for you either. But this is a +6 to charisma. Again, means we don't need the crown. We don't need the +8 cloak. I mean, it'd be better than the +6, obviously. But notice this gives us our greater heroism 3 times a day. And again, if this is the case, that's something that we definitely wanted multiple times a day. That's a solid upgrade. And we can take away this hat now and give ourselves something that's better. Something that can give us a +6 or +8 to charisma. So again, you can shuffle some stuff around. That's why I point this out to you. As far as necklaces are concerned, of course, we have our favorites. My Gyrona's Amulet here, nice +5 to armor class. Notice we also get Mirror Image at the start of every combat. Makes you really fucking tough. And your armor's already really fucking good. Throw on some spells besides that. You're going to be really amazing at having a high, flat-footed or armor class. Touch attack is still going to be a concern for you, but it's less of a concern than most builds with your spells buffing you up besides. But this is a nice fuck you to the bad guys. If you don't like that, we got Equilibrium for a nice immunity to cold and fire. Also a +6 deflection bonus to armor class. That's better than the +5 we would get from a spell like Shield of Faith, a spell that you have. But it's always on. You don't have to cast that spell at that point. Other examples of stuff that I like, Maya's Charm. That's probably not for you. But Heart of Ira, on the other hand, an AoE aura centered on you that just damage your team, so don't bring a team, but makes you immune to fatigue and exhaustion. That's amazing. That's an amazing necklace, but that's on you to decide if that's what you want. For booties, you're definitely going to get the Manticore skin boots. Anything you want to put down here, wands, scrolls, potions, world's your oyster at that point. I would even get a Meta Magic Rod for extend for several of your or spells that you have that literally could be double the duration. Notice we didn't take any Meta Magic. We'd have to rely on Meta Magic Rods then to solve that problem. But that's still okay, because again, there's not many spells that would do that to. So the ones that you only get to do it a few times a day, really anyway, like Divine Power, stuff that's only going to be like 1 round per caster level. That's only a 2-minute buff. Turning that into 4 minutes and then running into combat, that's amazing. So get those Meta Magic Rods. You can get like 3 of them. That's Lesser, Extend, and Greater Extend. That sounds silly, but that's 9 spells in a day that you can double the duration. Something of value. As far as weapons are concerned, again, any longsword is decent for you, but we have some really good main ones like Light of Valor, Perfection is one of my favorites, and Redeemer is a really nice one as well. Again, no wrong answer on some of these, but notice how this one has a spell built into it, Transformation spell. This one is good for you because your BAB is only a 15. You cast that transformation on yourself, that jumps up to a 20. You get an extra attack as a result of that as well, because you have a higher BAB, so more attacks in a combat round. Yes, please. You're going to hit like a brick fucking shithouse. Why not hit multiple times anyway? And you can't cast spells in that form. So make sure that's the last thing you do. Notice how the critical multipliers even a ×3 with that particular weapon. So it's going to crit. It's going to hit for 3 times the damage, which is really fucking nice. Perfection's another one that I'm a fan of because while it's a +5 longsword just like the others, it's a +2 inherent bonus to your armor class, all your saving throws, your attack rolls, and your skill checks. That's a lot of things that it buffs. And the fact that it's the inherent bonus, there's not many, if any, in the game besides this one. So it will stack with every other armor class and saving throw bonus and skill check bonus and blah, blah, blah. So it's a really nice way to fucking just capitalize on some fucking hit harder, hit some more. Really nice one. And this is one that's a mastercraft item from one of your artisans. For your other sword over here, the Light of Valor, another +5. Now this one's wholly axiomatic, whereas this one was a wholly flaming. This one here damages things on a variety of ways. Notice Searing Light spell at will. This is a lame range, of close range anyway. You can only shoot 30 feet anyway, so who gives a fuck? So when you're happy with that, again, it's a spell on tap. You gotta love that. As far as bucklers are concerned, you'll get it could have been any shield, but remember you only have the ability to use a buckler and use these weapons as if they were two-handed without that buckler impeding you, thanks to that unhindering shield. So we've got Arrow Guard, we got Blade Guard, and we got Rat Catcher's Buckler. I'd probably honestly swap that out for just a simple Buckler +5 would be good enough for me. But again, good ways to buff your character for extra armor. Remember, you're seeing the armor over here, but you're not seeing the special case scenario. Like in this case, against ranged attacks, I have 3 better armor. So this 43 jumps up to a 46. This jumps up from a 40 to a 43. Even for touch attacks, that 19 should go up another 3 points, I want to say, to a 22. Same with this one here. Now, the difference being it buffs up for melee attacks, +3, and the Rat Catcher gets you a +4 morale bonus to your armor class, but only against vermin. So again, it is useful, it's just weird. That's why I probably say I would just get the Buckler +5 for this last category. And there's other longswords besides, so you should have all these filled. Until you get the Unhindering Shield, though, you definitely want to have one of your slots be just a sword. Longsword magic +1, +5, plus whatever you fucking find. So that you can switch off between I have armor or I have a two-handed swing. That two-handed swing, as you can see, that damage is significant. So having it drop down, I can't show it to you. Well, as a matter of fact, I think I can show it to you. If I gift you a other shield. So let's go here, and we're just going to say heavy shield. And say search. Or did I type it wrong? I can't see it. It's so tiny. There we go. Let's grab us heavy shield +1, sure. And we'll grab one of those too. Okay, close. Now, you see we have a heavy shield +1. This one here is a heavy shield +4. It doesn't say +4. I mean, it's a will. That's a weird shield. Anyway, point is, if I switch this, watch my damage. The 36 here. Ready? See how it drops down to 32? Oop, wait a minute. What the hell? There we go. 26. See how it drops down to 26? That's because we're using it one-handed and then a one-handed shield. If we go back to having the buckler, 26 jumps up to 36. So we just lost 10 damage by switching over to something that's arguably a worse shield. Sure, there's good small or light shields and heavy shields in the game, but that again is going to impede your damage output. So if you find one that's like, oh, this one makes me immune to fire or gives me another spell like prayer or whatever, fucking yeah, keep it and get a nice longsword with it, but know that you are going down in damage. Your armor may vary, but these are decent bucklers. I mean, for what they do, bucklers are usually shit. So the fact that we're getting decent armor, and remember, we're also getting +1 to those shields as well, because we have shield focus, remember, as a feat. So again, you have a lot of bang for your buck here with just these crappy-ass bucklers. And I do like the fact that we still can cast spells and still do two-handed swings with that longsword and just do epic damage. Your character is going to hit like a fucking tank. On that, going to our spells and a more in-depth analysis of these spells and why we did them. Okay, so first, again, all your cure spells here are for free. Okay, you could have gone Inflict, but since I'm not undead, I figured, fuck it, I'd rather be the extra healer. Notice there's nothing at level 9. The free spells that we got: Enlarged Person, Protection from Arrows, Magical Vestment, Wall of Fire, Righteous Might, Mask Bolt Strength, Legendary Proportions, Storm Bolts, Implosion, no, Clashing Grounds, there it is. Clashing Grounds. There's decent spells, Some of them are shit. Some of them you'll never use. Looking at you, mass full strength. But by and large, they're decent spells. Hell, even enlarged person is a solid fuck you for the bad guys. Because again, you're bigger, you reach farther, you're stronger, you hit harder. Yeah, your dex went down. It's harder to hit targets because you're in the big size category. But by and large, it's still a good idea to cast on you, and it will last for a long time. And you don't even have to cast it on yourself because this is a friendly, close range spell. Shield of Faith and Divine Favor. Why at level 1, these two in particular? Well, 1, you knew you were going to grab them, so there's no reason to delay. Free armor is free armor, and it scales. It goes from +2 eventually up to a goddamn +5. So that's a really nice armor bump for you or your teammates. You will appreciate this. Yes, Ring of Protections make them obsolete, but do you have a Ring of Protection +5 yet? No, probably not. So again, the fact that you always have it on tap, at least at the early levels, is a nice upgrade. Divine Favor. It gets better over time, so it starts off with a +1 to your swing and +1 to your damage. Eventually gets to a +3 to your swing and a +3 to your damage. That's nice. It only lasts for a minute, but it always only lasts for a minute. At level 1, level 20, it's always going to do that 1 minute buff. That's a nice upgrade for level 1 character to hit and hit harder. Enlarged person, again, free, no choice in that matter, but you should use it on yourself. Obscuring Mist, again, you have a penalty to your sight. They can hit you. When they do hit you outside of your range of what you can see, which is 20 feet originally, then 30 feet, you are considered flat-footed. They are technically invisible to you because of your curse, that clouded vision. You can't see beyond that 20 or 30 feet. You're fucking boned, which means they get a concealment bonus to their swing. It's a +2, and you are flat-footed, which means your dex modifier and a bunch of other shit goes out the goddamn window. Thank God you got fucking armor. So it's really easy for them to hit you. Really fucking annoying. So why not even the playing field? Hence the Obscuring Mist. Bless, solid spell, team buff. Who doesn't love another bonus to your swing? And of course it counters Bane, another spell that you're going to grab last because it's a nice screw you debuff on the bad guy. Level 2, Oracle's Burden. We mentioned this. Again, if this works like it should, it will limit their range. Notice it's a touch attack. So you literally have to walk over and touch them on the shoulder. I don't know that it is a touch attack per se. I would assume it was because it's a one creature within touch range. I would assume it's considered a touch attack. But you're good at touch attacks. Your strength is high. You have a really good BAB. And you have ways to buff yourself for your swing anyway. So I'm not worried about that. That's not my issue. The issue is the curse that you're giving the bad guy is based on vision. It's based on range, no less. So literally walking over and touching him on the shoulder doesn't sound like the best idea. But if it keeps him from targeting your teammates that are farther away, or giving your teammates an advantage to hit them with like the range attacks, looking at you, Ekendio, for fucking catching them flat-footed and getting that beautiful concealment bonus, fuck yeah, that sounds amazing. So again, this still benefits the team, not necessarily you, but the team. Protection from arrows is just piss. It never seems to work unless they've patched that in years ago. I've never gotten it to work right, and that's usually because the guys that are attacking with ranged weapons always have like a magic bow +1, little pricks. Bone Shaker has medium range. That doesn't work for you. Your range is still limited to 20 feet, and then eventually graduates up to 30 feet. And that's still okay. It's auto hit. That's the purpose of this spell. It's something that it's a different damage type, and one of those where I'm just like, no, that guy just needs to take damage, and he's a little farther away than I'd like to run over to him. So Bone Shaker. That's what that one's for. Same with Bone Shatter, the bigger first burst of radiance. Solid AoE spell. Again, range is an issue because that long range is bullshit for you. Your range is 30 feet max. Probably by the point that I picked this spell up, it is 30 feet for you. So I wouldn't worry about it at that point, but worry about where you cast it because it can hurt you, can hurt your team. Be careful. It has that dazzle effect or that blinded effect. If they make the save, there's still dazzle. That's at least a benefit to you and your team. If they're evil, which is awesome, it's good to determine if they're evil, they will take damage. Again, half if they make the reflex save or whatever. Nope, doesn't even matter if they make the reflex save or not. They just take damage, which is fucking sweet. So a nice AoE damaging spell. Delay poison immunities. Who doesn't love that? Consecrate. This is a weird one. New spell added. Notice the real bonuses to this one here is that undead suffer when they're attacking you in this area of effect. The area of effect is on the ground. Close range is what you're all about anyway. But the point is the area of effect is stationary. So it's not centered on you. It's not like an aura walking with you. You click on the ground, and this is now consecrated ground. This is nice because it's a nice bonus to your saving throws against certain things. Penalties to the bad guys that are undead. You'll appreciate that. And better than that, if you come across bad guys that routinely summon undead to an area, they can't be summoned in this area. This is a really nice fuck you to the bad guys that do that type of summoning. So if you come across some Necrolord son of a bitches out there, consecrate some fucking ground and go to town on the motherfuckers. They will hate you for it. Level 3, Deadly Juggernaut. This one's amazing. Again, it's like Divine Power, just not as good, but solid damage reduction based on how many guys you kill. It's a nice luck bonus. Again, doesn't stack with Divine Power. That's why I mentioned Divine Power in the first place. Has a nice duration though, where Divine Power is like 1 round per level. This is 1 minute per level. So this one would be one I would stack, where I cast Divine Power and have it only last for a maximum of 2 minutes, and have this spell on me at the same time. Yes, they won't stack for most of the effects, but the effects that do stack are nice, or stack that will add, I should say, are nice. And when Divine Power wears off, because inevitably it will, 2 minutes is lame, this thing is still trucking for 20 fucking minutes, so 18 more minutes of you just being a badass. And this one gets better the more bad guys you kill. So Divine Power softens them up. You kill guys, kill guys, kill guys, and your Deadly Juggernaut stacking up from +1 to +2 all the way up to finally a +5. That's why Deadly Juggernaut's nice for us. Magical Investment, free. It used to be, I don't know, I haven't tested this lately, it used to be that this did not work on your shield. It will work on your armor, and it will work on your armor. Now the armor we have is +5, so it's garbage at this point. Oh well, you can cast it on another teammate, so feel free to do so. Give them some awesome armor that's only +1, and you're like, oh, if it only was +5. Well, I got Magical Investment. Okay, and that's a long 2 hour or 1 hour per caster level buff, so 20 hours maximum. That's a really nice buff for you and your teammates. Channel Vigor, enough amazing things about this that I just can't go into all of them, but literally it's the ones that buffs your limbs is the first one, only one that you really give the biggest shit about. There is others though. For instance, there's one here at the very bottom. Spirit. You gain confidence bonus on will saving throws. That's nice because your will saving throws were kind of sucking with your wisdom being bad. But our bluff and intimidation checks get a +6 as well. And remember, intimidation is what we're all about. So again, really, really nice ways to hammer home that ability to scare the fuck out of bad guys. Prayer. Yes, we can get that on tap with a cloak. I don't care. Still a good spell to grab. It's a nice buff for you and your team, and it's a debuff for all the bad guys, and there's no saving throw associated with that shit. There's spell resistance, but other than that, you're going to hit a bunch of dudes. A bunch of dudes are going to be happy. A bunch of dudes are going to be sad, and that's all you give a fuck about. Resist Energy Communal. Again, if I could have fitted in over here, I would have, but since this was an option, I'm like, fuck it, I want that consecrated step. Otherwise, I would have grabbed Resist Energy here and just buffed everybody one time separately. This one doesn't last very long. 10 minutes is not that great. But again, it's such a low level spell that you're not really using a lot of these spells at level 3 anyway. Multiple castings in a day, so I can cast this twice. Just huddle up the team, cast it once when you go into a dungeon, kick some fucking ass. Oh shit, we're taking more fire damage or whatever. Oh, my spell wore off. Everyone huddle up, let's do that thing again. Resist Energy Communal, and boom, go back to town kicking some ass. Level 4, Aura of Doom. This may be overkill. And I will freely admit that we have a lot of different effects that you have on your build that will allow you to shaken or terrify or panic a target. This is just one of many. I love the fact that it's a long-lasting buff. Cast on you, there's a saving throw, but there's no spell resistance. And again, all it is they walk into the area. In that area, poof, the motherfuckers will make their check, or they won't. If they don't make their check, they're now fucking terrified. That shaken condition starts off immediately, and now I can hit them with the flat-footedness thanks to Shattered Defenses. Wall of Fire, amazing spell. Range is shit because medium range is not for you. You're at close range, so be careful where you place it. And it's okay, but really the selling point here is the fact that it damages undead. Give yourself some protection from fire, and you might take a little damage, like Resist Energy Communal we just talked about will get you up to a 30. If it maxes out, this is 20, and this hits a 12, because it could. That's 32 damage. Well, you're protected from 30, so you're only really taking 2 points of fire damage. That's not that bad. So I'm not too worried about it hurting us. But make sure you are protected before you start walking through your wall of fire. Divine Power, on the other hand, is a fucking amazing one. While Deadly Juggernaut back here was awesome, it still is. This one's great if not for that duration. The luck bonus goes from +1 all the way up to +6 by the end of the build. That's at level 18, I want to say. It's a solid +6 to your swing, solid damage for your weapon attacks, strength check bonuses, your athletic check bonuses, and you get temp HP equal to your caster level, and you get an extra full attack around. Does not stack with haste, but so what? That's a fucking amazing upgrade for you. Just wailing on some bad guys. Freedom of movement, you're immune to a variety of shit. Death Ward immunity, as well as the protection from death effects. That's amazing. Flame Strike. Again, solid damage. Half of it fire, half of it something else divine. I think is what it's categorized as. So if they're immune or resistant to fire, this will still hurt those fuckers. Righteous Might. Again, free spell, nothing really to say here. Does make you stronger, does make you tougher. Still got a penalty dex. This is, again, enlarged person on crack. It's just a slightly better version. It does give you some protection, and that protection gets better over time. So that DR5, it goes up to DR10 eventually. That's not bad. And depending on your alignment, in our case, it would be DR10 evil. That would be if the weapon is considered evil, not the person. If the weapon is considered an evil weapon, it would penetrate that. So again, remember stacking layers of protection. There's not stacking layers of protection. There you go. So again, if you have that stone skin effect on, that's DR10/adamantine. Well, if it's an adamantine weapon, it goes right through it. Well, what if it is an evil adamantine weapon? No. Well, then with this buff on, as well as that other buff, you still have that DR10. So that's the point here. Cleanse, again, if you're soloing or trying to just like be a badass for your team, the ability to instantly heal yourself, instantly standard action heal yourself is nice. Decent amount of healing for you, and it removes a variety of conditions effects. So blinded, ability damage, confused, dazzled, disease, exhausted, fatigue, nausea, poisoned in second. There's a lot of things that you're cleansing from yourself, so that's a really nice way to take that penalty away. Spell resistance, amazing. Always have that on if you can. Lasts for a good long while. Bone shatter, terrible range, but it's already close range anyway. Thanks to your clouded vision, but a solid damaging spell. And remember the fact that it's half damage if they make their save, but also they're exhausted if they fail their save, they're fatigued if they make their save, so they're still in effect. So I always appreciate spells like that. Level 6, Eagle Soul. This is the one that's a really nice bonus to your armor and your strength, and it's a sacred bonus. That's nice. Acid and fire resistance, bonus to persuasion when using to intimidate evil. We're seeing a pattern here. Bonus to our initiative checks. Fuck yeah. And we regenerate 2 health every fucking round. Not this part here, my favorite part. Any critical threat roll made against an evil creature with the weapon you wield is automatically confirmed. That means when the really nice crit range that we have, we're going to crit more often than fucking not. That's really, really nice. Terrible if you're not good. If you're neutral or evil, it gets downright fucking horrid. Again, we're lawful good for a reason, and it's not just this. Cold Ice Strike, I just love it. Swift action, solid damage, really good spell. And the range is shit, but so what? The range is as far as you can reach anyway with your sight. Anyway, having said that, this one still should have worked even if your range was at 20 feet, because it's a cone. You're just aiming at the cone. Doesn't mean that the cone stops at 20 feet. It goes the full 30. So just because your range is impaired with your vision doesn't mean that your spells are impaired. In case I didn't make that clear. Chains of Light, this is the one that I said you could grab instead of heal. Still maintain that heal is a better choice, but I did like this one for a reason, and that's this no spell resistance right here. This is a real big fuck you from your deity, just in sorceling someone in a way where they're just straight up paralyzed and fucked. Bestow Grace the Champion, this is the one that literally you must be lawful good to use it on yourself, and it makes you immune to fear, you're immune to diseases, you gotta love all those things. I keep forgetting that part. And the best part, you get to use our Charisma modifier, which is one of our main stats, for our 3 saving throws, for our fortitude, for our reflexes, and for our will saves, which makes us even more fucking uber. Who doesn't love that shit? Legendary Proportions got this free. Notice you need dinosaur bones to use this one. The spell itself is not bad. It's just we have another spell at level 8 that's better. But until that time, this DR10 adamantine, that's nice. Bonus to our natural armor, and it's not natural armor enhancement. Be real clear on this, which means it stacks with all other natural armor bonuses. Our weapon gets a better size category, so we're doing more damage with our weapon. We're stronger because of the size bonus. We have more con, better fortitude, better hit points. Again, all good things here. Really, really nice, and you will love hitting shit this way. Greater Restoration, Diamond Dust, make sure to pack it, but this removes a variety of effects. Cures all temporary ability damage. Dispels all magical effects, penalize the creature's abilities. Restores all points permanently drained from all ability scores. So remember, there's temp drain and permanent drain. Permanent drain are really fucking hard to get rid of. This is one of those things that can make that go away. Really, really nice. It makes fatigue and exhaustion go away. Removes all form of insanity, confusion, and similar mental effects. So again, if you need to strip something off you, much like that cleanse spell, this is it. But this one can be used on friends. Particulate Form, this is the one you love because it makes you immune and your teammates immune for short durations, but still, this would be one of those spells that I would extend with a Metamagic Rod. You would all regenerate, you're immune to bleed damage, you're immune to critical hits and sneak attacks, and that alone, and other precision damage, that alone is the real reason for this. Notice that your regeneration gets better, instead of it being 1 health a round, or HP a round, it steadily gets up to 2, 3, and then finally 4 HP a round. That's not bad, and notice that any time you or anyone else that had this buff on them before the spell wears off can cancel it as a swift action and then heal themselves for 5d6, which you should definitely keep an eye on your rounds so that you're not wasting that, because that's a big heal to fucking pop off at the very end. So that's not bad. Level 8, Rifle Aspect. This is the big granddaddy of them all. Decent duration buff, gotta love that. Again, same size and con bonus that we saw, same natural armor bonus. The DR10 is not adamantine like we saw with Legendary Proportions. Legendary Proportions requires a dinosaur bone, this does not. But DR10 magic, again, layers. Remember that layers of protection. Is it an adamantine weapon? Yes, but they would have penetrated the other guys. Is it a magic adamantine weapon? Also probably yes, so that's a bummer. But is it an evil adamantine magic weapon? Probably not. And that's where we really have our saving grace. So 3 or more different layers of protection is really, really nice DR for you to have. So you're sucking up all kinds of physical damage, as a frontliner should. Nice natural armor bonus, which you appreciate that. And if you cast it and Legendary Proportions on yourself, I don't know that 6 natural armor would stack. Because it should, but I haven't tested that. Spell resistance is built into this spell. You gotta love this part too. You get 10 plus half your caster level, so caster level is 20, so 10 more, so spell resistance of 20. That's kind of shit, but for free, fuck yeah, I'll take it. And of course, we also have spell resistance way the fuck back here. That's even better. That would have been a 32, so that's on you probably anyway. Notice this part here, the aura you emit. 30 feet from you, enemy creatures within the aura are shaken. Doesn't say saving throw. It just says they're shaken. Period. No spell resistance. Each time a creature shaken by the aura hits you with a melee attack, that creature becomes frightened for 1 to 4 rounds, though at the end of that duration is no longer affected by this aura. So again, we're setting up the frightened condition. Shaken's good enough, but frightened is really nice, because then they panic and run the fuck away. Because they're running the fuck away, we get an attack of opportunity on their happy ass. Again, the aura's effect is fear and mind affecting, and the reason they mention that is if they're immune to either of those effects, then this isn't going to do shit for them. But still, solid spell. Storm Bolts, again, got it for free. It's centered on the caster, but it's AoE teammate friendly, so it's really nice for that. Fortitude Saving Throw, which is kind of a weird one for an evocation spell. We'll fucking take that. And again, it does solid electric damage. We appreciate that. Stun for 1 round after as well. Again, if they make their saving throw, they're not stunned, they take half damage. Greater Angelic Aspect, again, the reason you're grabbing this is really this immunity, acid and cold. But that DR10 Evil, that's fucking money. Again, we saw another way we can stack that with our DR10/magic or DR10/adamantine, remember? +4 racial bonus to save on poison, so if you forget to cast your delay poison on yourself, at least you have that buff. We have Protective Aura, that's for you and your team. Again, this is a +4 deflection armor class bonus for everybody, +4 resistance bonus against attacks made are affected by evil creatures to anyone within 20 feet. Otherwise, it's basically a magical circle against evil and a lesser globe of invulnerability, both with a radius of 20 feet. Very, very nice. Also, we get the ability to fly, which I think they've added that ability to it, which means that because it was always there, we had the ability to grow wings, but it didn't do anything. Now the wings actually serve a purpose, I believe, that makes you immune to ground-based effects, which, again, with freedom of movement, right here, that's less of a deal, but I'll take it for free. The Summon Elder Elemental, again, a straight up fuck you to the bad guys. That's a huge screw you spell. You can't summon more than 1, I think, at a time, but I can't remember if that's true anymore. But 4 elementals to choose from. You know, again, the biggest granddaddies of them fucking all, so they're going to hit like a brick fucking shit house. Level 9, Scourge of the Horseman, new spell centered on a target within medium range, which for you is close range because you're clouded vision. But 30-foot burst, this one will hit you without fail. You can't shoot it far enough away where it won't hurt you because the 30-foot burst is so fucking far away. You can only see 30 feet away, so it's going to hit your toes. You will fucking burn yourself with acid. And notice that the creatures in the air effect gain 1d4 negative levels and take acid damage. So the negative levels we can protect from, I didn't mention this before, but I'm glad I saw that, with Death Ward, I believe, because that's negative levels. So it'll protect you from negative levels. So this is a really, really nice spell. Throw that on, and then throw on your level 8 spell of Greater Angelic Aspect to protect you from acid damage, and you're immune to this effect now. This is a really, really nice spell. Clashing Rocks, we got this one for free. This one's a nice race spell, even though it doesn't look like it should be. But it is. Again, the range sucks for you. It says long range, but remember, you're 30 feet range. But no spell resistance, you gotta love that. Reflex saving throw, solid damage. Be careful with it, because people that are within the range of it can get hurt as well. That probably would include you, so be real careful with that shit. And it has a chance to knock guys prone, which is straight up sucky. But you have such good reflex saves with your Bestow Grace of the Champion cast on yourself that I'm not worried too much about that. I just don't want to take extra damage if I can avoid it. Implosion, another new spell, single target. Um, up to 1 round per 2 levels, so it's a constant smack spell, which I love that. Inflicts 10 points of damage per caster level. Each round you concentrate, you can cause one creature to collapse on itself. If you break concentration, the spell ends immediately. I'm assuming that means you have to divert your attention from target to target and always reactivate the spell on them, so that'd be something to keep an eye out for. If they're in gaseous or incorporeal, it doesn't work on them, but again, this is a solid screen use spell. Energy Drain is the last free spell. Duration is huge. Fortitude save, who cares about that? Because it's a partial save. 24 hours after gaining them, the subject must make a fortitude saving throw for each negative level. If the save succeeds, that negative level is removed. If it fails, that negative level becomes permanent. They're not going to last that long. That's not an issue for us. You must make a ranged touch attack, which we're okay at doing. If you hit, subject gets 2 to 8 negative levels. This is another one that, while I keep talking about the extendment of magic rods, this would be the one that I would maximize, so that I could really get it to be guaranteed 8 negative levels. And negative levels stack. So -8, -8, -8. If you keep hitting them and they're not immune to the effect, you're fucking them over a lot, because a negative level, it doesn't say it in here, but a negative level does like 5 points of health damage. It does a -1 to all your saving throws per level. That's negative. So if -8, that's 40 points of damage you just inflict on that son of a bitch, and a -8 to all his saving throws from that point forward. It's a really good way, and they can stack, so you can just negative level until they get to level 0 or lower, they die. It's an amazing spell. So that's why we have that. I hope this was clear about why I did what I did. Last thing to show you, the game doesn't glitch. Let's actually just quick save it. The game doesn't glitch. It would be to show you stuff like spells like Dragon 93 that we got from our belt. Notice that our strength is +10. We got that. We lost our armor bonus. Damn it. I knew there was a reason I didn't like the Onslaught armor. So the Onslaught armor is gone now. But, having said that, our gloves would still work. As weird as it is to say, because we got claws, our gloves would still work, which means that there's gloves out there that give you a +4, +6 to strength, maybe even a +8 to strength. Look for those gloves. I knew there was a reason I wanted some different gloves. But that's why. Keep forgetting about when you turn into different forms, you lose your fucking armor. This would be a reason to wear like braces of armor class +8 instead of the ones that we took. Notice that we're really, really big though, and we still have access to our spells. So we can do stuff like, where's our Righteous Might, Eagle Soul. That's a fast acting spell, no less. That's a +4. That's from our Sacred. Now the question is can we do, while in this form, will it allow us to change Frightful Aspect ourselves? Nope. See, I knew that there was something. I don't know when that happened, but they must have patched that out. People were probably abusing my system way too much. Sorry, guys. That's my bad. But again, as you can see, we're back to having our +8 from our enhancement from Strength from Onslaught, and now we got a Frightful Aspect +6 per size, +4 from Eagle Souls. We're still doing well. A 46 for Strength is not bad. I did drink, by the way. Did I? I did not. Sorry. Not done yet. You need to give yourself the elixir. I thought I did that. Close. Quick save. Game glitches out on me. That's this thing here. You only get 1. I just gave myself 2. But you use it, you get a +2 to all your stuff. Oh, I did have it. Didn't I? I think I did have it. Okay, point is, you want that. That gives you another +2 across the board for all your stats. And you definitely want that. That's a solid buff. Notice, we're not doing great here for armor. 50 is good. Don't kid yourself. It's really good. But we have yet to buff up. So you really need to do things like Shield of Faith on yourself. You have to actually cast it on yourself. Okay, let's take a look at your character now. See that 55? See that 25? That's because of the +5 from Shield of Faith. That's normally a Ring of Protection. We didn't get the Ring of Protection. Remember, we get the Dragonfly Ring. Well, it gives us a +8 dex back and the ability to cleanse ourselves 3 times a day. So again, be mindful of your spells. You may say, oh, that's useless. I'm not ever going to use that once I get the Ring of blah blah blah. Yeah. You can also cast it on teammates, and they're not all going to get Rings of Protection +5, so that's nice. And same with pets. Again, that's nice. We have ways to buff you besides. So what other stuff do we buff with? We didn't buff with Oh, let's see. Let me find a good one. Prayer. Let's do divine power as well. Righteous might won't do us any good. Neither will legendary proportions, because we already have frightful aspect on, which is this guy here. I'll even throw on. Okay, now I feel like I'm reasonably buffed. Good armor, doing well for myself, immune to a variety of things, which is fucking amazing. I got a really nice bonus to my swing. I'm hitting like a brick fucking shit house over here. Divine power gave me an extra attack. That's why you're seeing a 43 and a 43 over here. Remember, it behaves like a haste spell, kind of. Really nice bonus to my swing. You see that divine power is a nice +6 up there. Remember, it's a luck bonus. They don't stack with other luck bonuses. Your other luck bonus spells are prayer. It's only a +1, but still, there's other stuff that it gives you, which is why I cast it. Divine favor can get it all the way up to a +3 for luck bonus. And of course, Deadly Juggernaut can get all the way up to a +5 for your attack and damage bonus. So again, steadily increasing. This one wears off quickly though. Yes, it lasts longer than your Divine Favor. Divine Favor is a level 1 spell. What did you fucking expect? Throw in that Deadly Juggernaut, and again, it will not stack for most things, but the more guys you kill, eventually this will wear off, and that Deadly Juggernaut, you'll have that +5 bonus. Yes, it's not a +6, but it's a fucking +5, and it's lasting for 20 fucking minutes. That's nice, and it's really good damage reduction built into that, and there's a lot of fun to be had here. So my point is, for the strongest there is build, it may not be the strongest there is, physically speaking, because they nerfed all my cool abilities to make myself scary and big and dragon all at the same fucking time, but still maintain this as a solid build, still maintain you guys will hit fucking hard. This is a character that can solo for a long while. We will not finish the game solo with her. Probably. You have plenty of attack spells. Let's not kid ourselves. We have some really good spells that hit for some solid fucking damage. Scourge of the Horseman, Implosion, Energy Drain, Clashing Rocks, Storm Bolts, get your pet out every now and again. Cold Ice Strike is decent. Flame Strike and Bone Shatter and Bone Shaker, oh my. If they're undead, while the fire is good, if they're undead, all your cure spells are fucking amazing. It's another reason, by the way, to get rid of Chains of Light, to get heal. Because you're fighting undead, you walk over, touch that motherfucker on the shoulder. That's 150 fucking damage to the undead. Poof. Fuck you. You need to die. Just saying. So, with that though, that's all I had for you guys today. Sorry that's all I have for you. I am working on her build next. This is Draga. She's going to be the Dragon Oracle. So this one here, this Brass Dragon, and I made her deaf. I figured that her curse was her brass dragon kin that fucking blessed her in the first fucking place, started screaming and yelling at her birth, and it popped her eardrums, and now she's deaf. So that's her curse. Point is, I'll have that built for you before the week's out. I have written all this stuff down on a piece of paper for you, as well as the gear and spells at each level. I will do my best to enter that after this video uploads. Again, don't tell all those other pricks that left my video after the first briefest explanations that I could possibly give you, because now you know all the cool tricks and why we have those cool tricks. As far as special stuff down in here, just as a reminder, Lesser Restoration for free. You're probably never using Dazzling Display itself. Remember, it's built into your power attack once you power attack somebody. Surprising Charge, that's your multiple charges a day, where you really just pounce on a motherfucker. Iron Skin, that's a nice one. Long duration, works on yourself. He doesn't need any spell components for it. It's a supernatural ability, which means that the spell magic shouldn't work on it. That's fucking nice. Other stuff came from gear, came from gear. Nice buff, still came from gear. Immunity to fear effects, temp HP, but that +4 morale bonus to your attack alone is worth having, as well as your saving throws across the board. You can get really nice saving throws on this build. Don't forget to activate your light halo. Of course, some of your swords have special abilities like your Searing Light built-in ability. Notice the range. This is close range. This is as far as you can see anyway. So when you try to cast your spells, that's the one last thing I should probably show you. When you try to cast your spells, notice that instead of getting the full range, see it's medium range, which would be way the fuck out here, this is close range. Until you unlock the ability to see 30 feet away, this is as far as you're casting. Like, you're in the effect. But so what? You have Cloud Vision anyway, and it will protect you. Same with your other spells, like your Flame Strike. Where you at, little fucker? 5? Flame Strike. Again, once you finally get it, you're probably out to 30 feet, but don't get yourself in it. Be real careful with those spells. The ones that, like I showed you, are mentioned before, like your Scourge. This is as far as you can cast it. Notice how I can't cast it there. I'll have to walk to it, and it will hit me. Do that. I even get the minus level because I forgot to cast Death Ward on myself. So that's my point. So be real careful. Know what your spells are. Know what your ranges are limited. And while, as a final note, I say before I leave, while I'm not a real fan of the Clouded Vision, I wanted to try it out for one. It fit thematically with her eyes, like her eyes been burnt out by her deity kind of thing. I do like these other abilities. I didn't mention them because I didn't want those other guys to know about this. But notice how everyone's got concealment past your 20 feet. That's, like I said, a real bad thing for you where you're flat-footed. They get a concealment bonus to attack you. Eventually, your distance increases to 30 feet. So now anyone beyond 30 feet has that ability against you. But notice how you have Blind Sense out to 30 feet, and eventually you unlock Blind Sight out to 15. Now, what do those do? I can tell you what they do in the pen and paper version of the game. So hopefully it's the same. Some spells have to have a target. If they're invisible and you cannot see them, you cannot click them for the target. Blind Sight should allow you to click them within 15 feet. So they're still invisible, but I know that he's there because of Blind Sight. Blind Sense, on the other hand, is slightly different. This one is more of I sense where you're at roughly within 30 feet. As such, I can hit you, I think, with like AoE spells or some shit like that, and use you as the target still, because I know you're generally in that area. So I think this one is for AoE attacks where you need a target body. This one is for single target shit where you need a body. And again, if you can't see them, this allows you to technically see them. So that's what that's basically doing for you. And again, of course, if they're invisible and within 15 feet of you at this point, you definitely see them now, which is another reason I like the idea of the Clouded Vision, because again, you're all about the melee. I mean, yeah, you have some AoE ranged effects that you suck at because of the 30 feet limitation, but you're all about, getting up and in their grill. This is kind of what this build is all about. But with that, now, my name is Brother Mute. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Don't share this information with those people that left early. And with that, I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.